All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is my run of max keys. Oh, by the way, is audio good? Is audio too loud or too quiet? Actually forgot to check audio beforehand. Should be good. Fine, good, okay. So yeah, so this is Ocarina of Time max keys. So goal of this run, as the name implies, would be to get as many keys as possible. There are a few things I do want to mention about the rules for this though. Oh, I should also mention that, so this is a Lotad, but I wanted to do a bit more task strat style stuff for this. So that includes like some RNG manipulation like there. So I had to manipulate a bunch of rupees there. I need to get some rupees. First thing I need to do is grab sticks and get out of here. There are no keys in Gigiri Forest, so don't want to be here. And then here I can use a stick to do a west here. And then use this to talk to the guy, clip inside, and then leave Gigiri Forest really quickly. Okay, so to talk a bit about this category and the rules and how this came to be. So first a bit on the rules. So I have an extra requirement that is no opening key doors. That might sound obvious at first because usually when you open a key open a key door, you lose a key. There are some situations where opening a key door can net you an extra key, but I decided to make this run more interesting to also just ban opening key doors entirely. There's a reason for that. I promise it's more interesting this way. And then one more rule is that I ban infinite key dupes because infinite key dupes, 1, would take forever, and 2, they kind of discourage getting other keys in that same area. So I will also not be doing any infinite key dupes. Key dupes in general are still fine as long as they are not infinite. But yeah, so a bit about this category. So I actually had the idea for this back in like March or April of last year. And it was something that I like wanted to do. It came, like, the idea was around the time Tears of the Kingdom was coming out. And so I was like, I'll do this like maybe when I'm done with Tears of the Kingdom, and then that didn't happen until like January. But then I thought, oh, this is like perfect timing for February 21st. So so timing ended up working out. So I worked on this for about a little less than a month prior to February. Well, it was a few weeks of testing and stuff before actually getting started. But this was actually kind of inspired by OMS. So if you guys know, last year, oh, I should also talk about this. So this is a cool forward west with a side hop. So normally that west there gets you much less speed, but if you do it like in this very specific way where you get onto land immediately after getting in the water while holding a specific direction, you actually get a pretty fast fest. And I use that to skip the owl. And then this is just Cuckoos. So actually this run does not end up defeating Ganon. This run just ends on the final key. Yeah, so about the inspiration for this run. So this actually the idea came to me during OMS last year. For those who don't know, OMS was this OOT competition where there would be these certain tasks that were based on like certain aspects of the game that aren't explored very much and made to be like a speedrun competition. Like for example, one task was interacting with all of the different types of Gossip Stone, like getting all the different types of Gossip Stone interactions, or like doing all the mini games getting a high score on all the mini games on the board in Link's house, and those types of challenges. And so I was kind of thinking like, you know, maybe small keys could be something interesting to do a challenge for. And it just got me thinking about, like, you know, how many keys can you actually get? I started looking more and more into it, and it started getting more and more interesting because you have to do a lot of different and unique and interesting things to get more and more keys. Yeah, I did the stupid jump slash there. That took a while. It wasn't that bad, but it was also kind of dumb. And also, I also kind of realized that this is a bit no doors adjacent. So if you guys like no doors, I mean, this is essentially no key doors. So no doors fans will like this. We just asked you for the Coco segment next time. I probably should have. Yeah. But yeah, time to go into the first dungeon. The first place that has keys. But first, I'm gonna do a clip here. So I'm gonna get into a position, and I want to kill this Skulltula in just the right place so that its corpse pushes me out of bounds here. Like that. I fall down, fall into invisible water. This is, so there's like shallow water all around bottom of the well, and that shallow water extends downwards infinitely. I can swim in that water, fall into this room, and this has bomb chews. And then I can use bomb chews to clip through the vines, and I can continue to swim through this invisible water again, over to this room with the like. And in this room there's a shield. And shields are very good. Shields are used for like half the glitches in the game. Well, I was highly in shield, and this one is Deku Shield. And then I can just warp out of here. But that also means that I didn't get any keys there. That's a bit of a flub. I gotta remember to go back there now. Keys do not have to be from source. Alright, well, I'll remember to go back to bottom of the well for keys. Surely I won't forget. So actually, small note about the Deku Shield here. So I am going straight to adult, and I'm not going to do anything else as child. Turns out getting the... I was wondering like whether or not getting the Deku Shield was worth it, because all I need it for is just Tessing to Castle. Turns out it's barely faster to get the Deku Shield. It saves like, I don't know, 5 seconds or something. Just for these two Hesses. Yes, this is a Lotad. How hard would it be to do this run unassisted? Most of the stuff in this run is pretty hard but doable. One of the things in this run is absolutely not doable. Real time. I would say... minor spoilers, but you could probably do this run -1 key in real time. Okay, and then there, that's door time skip, so... a small crack in between the door and the wall, side hop out of bounds, you can clip back in bounds. Get past the door, get to Master Sword early. And I'm gonna get all the keys as adult, because child is bad at getting keys. No, you do not have to use a key to get through the door time. The door time key is Song of Time, but it's not actually a key. It's just a song. It's a metaphorical key, but we're talking about literal keys here. How different would this run look in Master Quest? I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it for Master Quest. I don't know. It'd be a lot. I think Master Quest in general has significantly fewer keys. But I haven't thought about it too closely. How long did it take to put this together? A few weeks of routing and testing and like route verifying and everything, and then a few more weeks for the actual run. Like, recording the actual Lotad was probably about 3 weeks, and then like two-ish weeks beforehand to prep. Yeah, this is being played back in GZ. You are watching, this is a video recording of a GZ playback of the macro. How many keys are not able to be grabbed? That is a good question that I can't just spoil you on. You have to find out while watching the run. Don't desync. I sure hope my pre-recorded video doesn't desync. Kita knows some desync magic, don't tempt him. I sure hope. After some of the desyncs I had during this, I would not like to tempt getting another desync. Do I know a consistent way to get a desync? A consistent way to get a desync is to record your macro improperly and load a save state while recording when you're not supposed to be recording, not realize it, and then go back to a different save state and not realize that you overwrote your inputs. That's an easy way to cause a desync. 12 minutes worth of keys. Yeah, I'm a little bit short on keys right now. You know, I'm a little bit slow, but you know, it'll happen. I'll get keys. Let me cook. How long is the recording? I can't spoil that. I'll say it's not too long. I'll say it's... You will not be here for more than 2 hours longer. All I did in Child 1 was grab Choose and Highland Shield, and then one adult. It was basically, or Choose, Bottle, and Shield. It was basically your very average child section. And I will admit, the beginning of the adult section is also fairly average. Spoilers, but beginning of adult is basically standard adult RBA starting. If you don't know what that is, you'll probably still find it interesting. If you do know what that is, come back in 20 minutes. Okay, so starting off adult, just want to go straight to CAC and get the egg. Oh yeah, also, I should mention, so when you start, when you become adult first time, you always get bombs auto-equipped on a C button. That is pretty important in this run because, well, I'll get into why that's really important later on. But it's usually made use of, but it's like especially important in this run. So I want to grab bugs here. I got to do some RBA soon. Bugs are gonna help with that a lot. And so this is one cool thing about doing more task-like strats is I can do chew/hesses. I mean, technically they're doable in real time. They're just pretty hard. But I abuse chew/hesses a lot in this run. Yeah, water is supposed to have 6 keys. Don't worry about it. That's just a mistake. But it's not going to matter anyway. So you got the egg, that's going to be important for RBA, and then save warp. Oh yeah, so the version, so this is on just regular VC 1.2. There is something that is potentially relevant to version exclusive stuff that I will talk about later, but it's, for the purposes of this run essentially doesn't really matter about version, but there's a certain technicality I will need to talk about later. But yeah, so I want to go to Ganon's Castle here. I'm not going to Ganon's Castle right away, but going here makes it nighttime. I just want to go here to speed up hatching the egg. Yeah, Ganon's Castle does have 2 regular small keys. That is accurate. The only inaccurate one on the tracker is water. Just, that's supposed to be 5. That's supposed to be 6 keys instead of 5, but don't worry about it. Yeah, I made this low tad all by myself. Okay, so now I just have to kill time until daytime. There's a few things I can do to prepare stuff while I'm waiting. So there are these trees over here, and slash is for good luck. If you bonk the tree, it has a chance of dropping a nut. That nut is important. Yeah, you like that RNG manip, the slash for good luck. So now I need to go over here and start some RBA. First I need to kill the Poe here. So now I'm going to set up RBA. So I'm going to dump bugs here, and I'm going to try to go in the water with a bottle in my hand and press B right as I enter the water. And this is going to make it so that my B button is the last button pressed, but I can still swing the bottle by holding target and shield and bottle at the same time. And that makes the bugs go over the last button I pressed, which was sword. And there, when I caught bugs with bombs on C right, I put a bottle over my bomb slot. Now I'm going to catch bugs with Poe on C right. This modifies my bomb chew count. So RBA in general, when you catch something with a bottle on B, it modifies parts of your inventory based on your C right item. So bombs on C right put bugs in bomb slot. Poe modifies bomb chew count. That's how I just got 29 chews there, now 28. Yeah, so the important thing about bottle on bomb slot is that now bomb drops can appear from grass. Although I still don't have a bomb bag, so I can't actually hold the bombs. So I use Wake Up Talon with a Cuckoo. Now give Cuckoo to the Cuckoo Lady, and then I'm gonna get Kajiro. I know, the side up in the CAC doesn't, I mean, I guess it technically skips the text block, but it was just, I just wanted to frame perfectly slide hop in when it turns daytime. So now I'm going to RBA Kajiro. So by dropping and catching the bugs with Kajiro on C right, this is going to give me both a bomb bag and a quiver. Notably, the bomb bag is 40 bomb bag, so I can hold a lot of bombs now. And the quiver is also a 20 arrow quiver, which is lower than the normal smallest quiver of 30. So here's some RNG manip to get some bomb drops. Now that I have both a bottle on bombs and a bomb bag, I can actually hold bombs. And so this is one of the reasons why it's really important that Adult gets bombs freely equipped at the beginning of Adult. So now I can just Hess over to Lost Woods. I'm going to continue the trade quest because the Adult trade quest has a lot of the items in the Adult trade quest are very good for RDA. They give you a lot of really good tools that I really need for this run. Six patches of grass and only 3 drops. Pancake, I wanted to get 5 drops from 5 pieces of grass, and I was going insane just trying to get like 2. I was initially actually going for 2, and I ended up getting 3 as a bonus, but I could not, no, I can't manipulate more than 3 from there. It would have been way too bad. Okay, so Odd Mushroom, all Odd Mushroom RBAs is Heart Piece. I don't really need the Heart Piece, so I don't have to RBA this. So I just have to rush back to Keck as quickly as possible. Yeah, Pancake's just a little bully, but I can handle the bullying. Pancake deserves to bully me. He can task much better. So here, I go in the bazaar here and I buy a stick and arrows. So, you might think, why was I able to buy arrows and why did I buy arrows? It seems kind of weird considering I don't have a bow. But remember how I mentioned when I RBA'd Kajiro that I got a quiver? So the quiver actually allows me to buy arrows, and it does actually hold the arrows. So I do have 10 arrows now, even though I have nothing to shoot with, but I do need those later. So now I trade in the mushroom, and I get Odd Potion. So Odd Potion actually is important to RBA because it gives me Song of Time, which is going to be important this run. Oh, this Hess is cool. So this is the Beard Guy Hess. There's a bearded NPC right there, and he is convenient to Hess off of with a chew. Love the Beard Guy Hess. So now it's just across Hyrule Field again, back to Lost Woods. So you can backflip and use a chew to dance boost yourself onto the ropes, which is a nice way to speed up climbing up here. So you don't have to go through Kukuri Forest. So here's RBAing the Odd Potion, so this way I get Song of Time. It also gives the 3 Spiritual Stones, but they don't really matter. Then trade this in, and I will get Poacher Saw in return. So Poacher Saw is the really important one. So RBAing Poacher Saw gives Lullaby, Nocturne, Serenade, and Prelude. Poacher Saw is basically like the important reason why I do most of the trade quests. And there's also going to be a bunch more RBA here. Also another bomb drop manipulated there. Okay, so that RBA'd the Saw, so that gave me those songs I just mentioned. Now I'm going to RBA the Poe by catching bugs with Poe and Sea Red, so that just gives me more bomb chews. And then here I also catch a fish over my nuts. So I need the fish later, and I don't actually need the nuts. I really only picked up the nuts for an extra bottle. But I do need that fish for later. Another Hess here, and I also manipulate another bomb drop. So you can Hess around Mido. If you angle the Hess quickly enough, you can like Hess directly around him before he actually manages to block you off on that side. So I can go straight to Sacred Forest Meadow. So here I just want to get Minuet, so I'm going to do a death cutscene skip. I'm going to die as soon as I enter the cutscene. This gives me the song, and I don't have to watch the cutscene. Another bomb manipulated there. This run needs a lot of explosives, if it wasn't obvious enough already. So I'm going to go back to Goron City, and then from here I'm going to go to Death Mountain Crater. So I can do a Mega Slide Hop ground clip to get into Darunia's room without talking to the Rolling Goron. Then here I can Hess clip through the Darunia statue to get directly out into Death Mountain Crater. And so here I want to do the same thing with Bolero as I did Minuet, where I want to get the song without watching the cutscene. But this time I'm not going to die for it. I'm going to fall out of bounds. So if you grab a ledge with a high downwards velocity, in that case I used ISG to get high downwards velocity, you will do like a glitchy ledge grab and fall through the ground during the cutscene. And that skips the cutscene, so I don't have to, and I still get the song. Here I have very limited time to climb out to the top of the crater. But luckily I'm able to make it out just barely. Yeah, look at me doing task strats, doing the A slide. The mandatory task slide. I do a few A slides in this run. Two frames. I think I at least made it out there with like 4 frames left. It wasn't that bad. It definitely took a while to get out though. For a while I thought I was gonna have to use backflip time stop. Yeah, I thought I was gonna have to do time stop with backflip where I backflip and then press Ocarina mid backflip to stop the timer. But I managed to make it out without having to do that. And then I do the slow turnaround to backwalk. I meant to learn the fast turnaround backwalk and I was too lazy and I never did it. Yeah, the tool is primarily to slow down time and use save states. So a lot of this run I'm playing frame by frame and save stating a lot to get everything perfect. So here I'm going to do a super slide here. And I'm going to activate the Goron getting up cutscene during the super slide. This makes it so if I fall off a ledge, the super slide doesn't get cancelled. And I'm able to super slide directly into the loading zone for Dodongo's Cavern way down here from out of bounds. Alright, so now here in Dodongo's Cavern, I'm gonna go up to the bomb chest, and that might sound a bit strange considering I already have bombs. But this is pretty important. So I gotta start doing the DC head hover. So I started hover off the Beamos and then start hovering up with chews. Pancake, don't mention how I could have done that with one less chew. So I climb up the head here and Hess over to the bomb chest. And I do a quick chest opening there, and I get the bomb bag, but that's not actually the bomb bag. Well, it's more literally the bomb bag, because what actually happened there is it gives me the actual bomb bag item, but it puts it over my bomb chew slot in my inventory. So actually, I just lost my bomb chews. I am never going to be able to equip swap, or I'm never going to be able to equip bomb chews again. And also, similarly, I am never able to equip swap bombs either because I don't have real bombs, because remember, bombs were auto-equipped, and now I have a bottle over my bomb slot. So actually, bombs and bomb chews are both permanently on my C buttons now, and I'm not able to unequip them without losing them forever. Which effectively means that I have one C button for this whole run, which is a little bit annoying. Thankfully, it doesn't really truly cause any issues. But it means that this is not quite a low pause run. There will have to be a lot of pauses this run because I effectively only have one shoe. But yeah, that bomb bag that I mentioned that goes over my bomb chew slot, that will be important for later. So now I just need to finish doing some setup. So I need to go get Furor's Wind. Furor's Wind is super important for this run. This is also another reason I really needed Zelda's Lullaby. Okay, I forgot about the Fountain Super Swim. I thought it was impossible, and then I remembered it, Homer Funky did it in the task, and I only remembered after the fact, and I'm like, oh well. I wasn't gonna redo stuff for little things like that. Oh, you did it too? Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a handful of things that if I could easily go back and redo them, I would, but I'd have to redo everything after that too, and I don't want to do that. Oh yeah, so I still have no keys. It's been 30 minutes, I don't have a key yet. I better speed this up. I am not getting my keys fast. Astute viewers may notice I have no keys so far. So yeah, now I gotta go to Shadow. I'm gonna do a bomb push into Shadow Temple. This that pushes me past the load trigger for the bottom part of Graveyard there, and that skips the big door loading, so I can just walk in without having to light all the torches. So now I'm gonna set for Wind here. So now I just need to go to Dead Hand, grab Hover Boots. First key incoming. This is not the first key because this is Hover Boots, not a key. But Hover Boots are also pretty important in this run. And now I'm going to leave again. Yes, Hover Boots in vanilla location. Alright, so now I'm going to go into Water Temple. So I can do a clip here. By jump slashing at the right point there, it lets me clip inside. So I can get into Water Temple easily. Alright, so now the setup is over, so I promise there will soon be keys. So first, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do a Navi dive off this Tektite to get down here. I have to jump slash right on the edge, check the Tektite with Navi, and I fall down. And swim over here and talk to Gerudo. Yeah, and it looks like Link is drowning during the cutscene. Alright, so I need to go up here and lower the water, and then I can finally start getting some keys. Alright, so I'm going to side hop down here to this ledge, and there's a key door behind that wall here. But first, I'm going to set up RBA here. So I'm going to drop this fish, use this bomb to set up RBA. I'm going to catch it with bomb bag on C, right, the bomb bag I got from Dodongo's Cavern. And now I have 25 keys. And now I have 26. And now I'm going to drop this fish, and I'm going to get 31 keys. So now I have a lot. And I'm also RBAing the Poe here again for more chews. I catch the fish here. This also gives me more chews, but I actually realized later I didn't need to catch the fish. Minor in optimization there, but not a big deal. And so now I light the torches here. Go in here and then kill the shell blades for another key. Okay, so there's a bit to talk about with that RBA stuff. So the reason I went from 26 to 31, so it's this thing called half milk RBA, which is really interesting. So the the in-game value of milk is item number 26. And normally when the game sees that you are drinking item number 26, it says, oh, you need to, you know, milk has 2 drinks, it needs to be changed to half milk, which is item value 31. So if the item that you're RBAing has a value that it's pointing to of 26, then it will instead go to 31 instead of just emptying it. And so that's why I had to get to 26 keys, and then dropping it, that gets to 31. So you may know, some people may know that it's possible to get 37 keys in Water Temple, and this is done by first RBing up to 28 or 29 keys, and then opening key doors to get down to 26. Because I have this extra requirement of no opening key doors, this means I have to add a key to go from 25 to 26, rather than subtract keys by opening key doors. So this does mean that in total, I will have 1 less key for Water Temple compared to what's actually possible. Spoilers, it'll be 36 keys instead of 37. But there is a good reason for that. Not opening key doors is quite a bit more interesting. I should go over this part. Okay, so this part's important. So in this room here, the normal easy way to get past that gate is by doing a weird shot, but I don't have a bow right now. So I have to do a bomb push past a load trigger there. So I didn't let the previous room load when I did that super slide. So I could get to the ledge there, and I can do a ledge clip that'll damage boost me into the water in this room. And so now I can swim to the top of this room. And I just have to wait to float up. And now from here I'm going to start at hover, but before that I need some more chews. I have 15 chews, but that is not enough for this hover. This is a big hover. And I'm actually going to keep bottle on B and keep ISG while doing this hover. And so right now I'm directly below the long shot room. And so normally you're supposed to go from the long shot room and fall down this chute down into this room, but you can also hover all the way up to it. So I'm doing this big hover all the way up to the long shot room. So some of you may remember Tricks of the Murder this using a hookshot jump, but I actually never got hookshot this run. I intentionally skipped hookshot because I know I was going to get long shot quickly, and so I can just go directly to long shot. And then after that hover exhausted all my chews, so I do a quick RBA there. And I also need to re-catch the bugs here, and I'm going to catch them over my bomb bag. So the bomb bag item is no longer important, so I just use that as an extra bottle now. Open the chest, and I get my long shot. Oh, I should also mention, so again, the bomb bag is in the item slot where bomb chews normally is. Before I got the bomb bag, I equip swapped the bomb chews over the poacher's saw. And so that's how I still have the bomb chews equipped. So now I have 34 keys. I'm going to do a weird shot here. So this room right here actually has some extra hookshot collision on the side of the wall that you can't see. It's likely left over from like some beta stuff where maybe they had more hookshot collision on these walls, but took out the hookshot targets but never actually took out the collision. So that's how I'm able to hookshot those. So I'm gonna head over here, go towards the boss room, and I gotta catch these fairies. Fairies are gonna be decently important this run. Gotta catch both of these, actually. So I'm gonna go in here. I'm not going towards the boss, though. I'm gonna do a weird shot here. And a weird shot down here. So I have a double screen view here where the main screen shows collision view so you can see what's going on out of bounds. where I have the real view in the camera in the corner there, so you can see how it actually looks in the actual game. So I just weird shotted down to the hookshot target directly below, which is in front of the room that leads to the boss key room, the room that has the boss key chest. So now I'm climbing up the central room, hookshotting this target. So this is the highest floor of the central tower. And now I'm going to start a big hover here. So I want to hover out of bounds, and there's a particular part of the ceiling I can hover out of bounds from. So I've got to start a big hover here. So this this clip here is very precise. You have to be at just the right position where all these corners meet to clip out of bounds. And then I can side hop here, and this lets me like walk on this invisible seam out of bounds here. I can do some side flip hovers, and I'm gonna slide hop, and I'm actually gonna land on an out of bounds spike. So there's like this random, for some reason, this random like triangular spike out of bounds that has no business being there, that just happens to be there, and is perfect for a Furrow's Wind Void Warp. So I fall while using Furrow's Wind, and I use Furrow's Wind right as I void out. Furrow's Wind, if you remember, was set back at Shadow Temple. So when I try to warp back to Furrow's Wind as that's happening, it loads me at the map of Shadow Temple where Furrow's Wind was set, but at the coordinates of the room I was just in, which was the pre-boss room in Water Temple. And then I also died from the Void Warp, and that lets me get this this state called zombie walking, where I can walk in midair. And that lets me get on this pillar. And if you recognize what this room is, this is actually the boat room in Shadow Temple. I'm in the middle of the boat room, and I happen to land on one of the rocks in the boat room. So if you guys know that big boat hover, skipping the boat by hovering all the way across the room, this is the reverse boat hover. I'm hovering the opposite direction. I'm actually towards the end of the boat room now, and I'm hovering towards the beginning. And I should also mention, so I mentioned that the room that's loaded currently is the same room number as the pre-boss room in Water Temple. That room in Shadow Temple is the room with 2 redeads and some spikes and a silver key puzzle. And that room is actually very far away, so I actually have to do a lot of dungeon traversal while out of bounds during this. And I'm also going to have to re-RBA my choose because this involves a lot of hovering. Actually, no, this is not the unviable trick I was talking about. This is actually doable in real time. It wouldn't be easy, but it'd be doable. So I've got to hover up to one more ledge here and start a Hess. And then with this Hess, I can curve around this big wall here. And now I'm landing, this is the area right in front of the boat. With the cage, this is the cage room right here. I gotta climb all the way up this wall. And so this is climbing back up to what would normally be the spinning scythe room. With all the blue stuff is the wood panels on the ground. I weird shot down here to a room. There's a room with a wood panel on the ceiling that you're supposed to hook shot to like get over some gaps. And then I weird shot down here. And finally, I'm in the room I want to be in with the redeads and the silver rupees. And then this room leads to a key. Okay, so I'm killing the redeads here. So you probably think killing the redeads is not necessary here, so why did I do that? There is a reason why I did that, but also I also kind of messed up, but there's a good reason for it. So I will explain that later on. Keep that in the back of your mind. Be an astute viewer and remember that. But yes, there is a key. There's my first non-water key. There's my first shadow key. Also, something important to note. When doing a Furrow's Wind Void Warp, it does not dispel Furrow's Wind. So even though I warp back to Shadow Temple with Furrow's Wind is still set in Shadow, and I don't have to reset it. And that's important. So now I gotta head out of Lake Hylia. I gotta do some bomb collecting. Pancake, don't look. So I really need full bombs coming up soon. So now I'm gonna head over to Gerudo area. So I just can Hess over there. 3 bushes for full bomb drops. Dude, I couldn't handle just sitting there trying to farm, trying to get like 7 drops from 1 bush. I couldn't do it. I got Serenade from RBAing Poacher's Saw. RBAing Poacher's Saw gives Serenade, Nocturne, Prelude, and Lullaby. Alright, so I just have to Hess directly over Gerudo Valley. Go to Gerudo Fortress. Gerudo Fortress has 2 areas with keys in them. The fortress itself and Gerudo Training Grounds both have keys that I will go try to hoard. So Fortress is pretty simple. It's just the, just the standard Gerudo fights. Yeah, hideout keys are nice and easy to hoard. All I have to do is just not save the carpenters, just leave them in jail. Now they can never be freed. But hey, you know what? There's a good thing about this, which is I don't have to talk to the carpenters afterwards. They talk for so long. You know what? They deserve it because they talk for so long. Like, it's just not worth saving them. They cost so much time in any speedrun that they have to be done in. They deserve it. They're being locked up for wasting time in a speedrun, which is the worst offense imaginable. Prime yapping. Exactly. Why'd I walk up to the torch to Hess when I sword on B? Good point. I probably should have just slash S. Alright, so there's all the keys. So now I need to go into Gerudo Training Grounds. So I just gotta clip into the door by doing a slide up on top of the jail, and that lets me get in without paying the fee. So Gerudo Training Grounds has 9 keys in here, so there's a lot to get. So I'm gonna weird shot to pass this gate, pass that key door, and hook shot up here to get 1 key. And then weird shot again here. From here I can weird shot down to the ice arrow chest. So I mentioned earlier how I RBA'd a quiver and how I bought arrows from that shop. And now that I have ice arrows, I can actually use all those things as a makeshift bow. So I don't have the bow right now, but I can use ice arrows as my bow now because I have a functioning bow and arrows to shoot. So now I run out here, and I gotta do the silver rupee puzzle to open up toilet room. Oh yeah, so Water Temple is not complete yet, by the way. I should mention, I am going back to Water Temple later. Yes, I did walk past the key. That's a mistake. I better go back to get that key. But first I gotta do the toilet. So toilet room, normally you're supposed to do this with iron boots, but instead I'm going to do an ocarina dive to the bottom and super swim off the shell blade to help grab some silver rupees. So I did this in 2 ocarina dives. It might be possible to do this in 1 with like an insane super swim, but if it is possible, it would be insanely difficult, so I did not do that. But still good enough. Is that a challenge? Yes, Pancake. Do it. Alright, there's 2. Alright, now surely I'm gonna go up there and get that key that I missed. And the easiest way back up there is gonna be a weird shot. I'm gonna weird shot, and I can hook shot this gate past this load zone back here. But actually, I can use this load zone to duplicate the key. So I'm gonna side hop back and forth a bit. I think I'm gonna do this about 18 times. So there's gonna be 18 keys here now. So now I can grab the keys, but actually I'm not gonna grab the keys. I'm going to jump over here and do a spin attack to kill these bubbles here. Alright, so the reason I did that, there is a lot of stuff loaded in this room right now, and if I tried to pull out bombs, I would only be able to pull out 1 at a time, but I need to be able to pull out 3 bombs here, so I can do a triple bomb push against this door. This lets me open this door and unload some of the stuff in this room, mainly the torches, and I'm doing this to free up space in memory, which gives me more room to load more stuff, so I can go back here, dupe some more. So now that the torches are gone because of that, because of the door thing, I have way more space to load more keys. And now I'm going to repeat the process again. And also, so I mentioned when I killed these, the fire bubbles here, this is also to free up more space. Again, if I try to pull out a bomb before killing those, I'd only be able to pull out 1 bomb at a time. Killing those opens up enough space to pull out 3 bombs. That allows me to do this. So I can repeat it again. This unloads the torches, frees up more space. Weird shot again. And I'm going to repeat this a few more times. Although it's actually going to get a little bit different. The more stuff I get, the more complicated some things become. I'm not sure if this plays back on N64, but I think it actually would. I should test it, but I'm pretty sure it should actually work. This looks cool, but also miserable to do. This was pretty miserable to do because it is very prone to crashing. So, when tasking this, when recording a macro of this, and having it crash all the time, it was not the greatest. Yeah, the torches are glowing because it's a bunch of torches stacked on top of each other. It's like, you know, 10-ish plus torches stacked on top of each other. So every time I do this, I am freeing up more space, but it's less space every time. So I have to do fewer dupes every time. Oh, so now something interesting happens. So you're seeing that now I have to kill them with a bomb instead of my sword. So there's actually so much stuff loaded right now that my sword doesn't work. Like, the hitbox of my sword, if I try to slash my sword, just doesn't come out. Like, it'll look normal, but there's no hitbox on it. And so the only way to kill those guys is with a bomb, so that I can use more bombs to do the bomb push, to unload more stuff. So now another weird shot. Load a few more. By the way, is anyone counting the dupes? Alright, so gotta kill these guys again with a bomb. Also, so when I did the magic spin to kill them, the magic spin is powerful enough to kill them all in one hit, but the bombs need 2 hits, which kind of sucks. So another triple bomb push. So this is also why I needed so many bombs at Lake Hylia, because this whole process is extremely bomb intensive. In fact, bombs were almost the limiting factor of how many I could dupe here. They weren't quite, they barely were below the limiting factor. I'll get on the limiting factor towards the end. But yeah, they almost prevented me from duping more. Okay, so so if you saw that lag spike there, that was not the stream dropping frames or anything. That was the game actually lagging. So there's actually, so one of the things that does not get despawned when I do this dupe, or when I do the triple bomb push from the door, is the fire circle. And when I tried to do that weird shot there, there's so many fire circles there that it lagged the game, freezing the screen, and I couldn't weird shot. Well, theoretically I could weird shot while the screen was frozen, but it would have been very hard. So I had to do a weird shot where I was facing a different angle, but actually went backwards a bit with the weird shot, because I can't weird shot directly up against the wall. It has to be a bit farther back from it. Same thing is going to happen here again, where the screen's going to freeze and I weird shot in a different direction so that I can avoid looking at the flame circle. And then a few more dupes. Is this? I think this might be the last one. Okay, yeah, and now I start to grab the keys. Okay, so I want to go over the limiting factors for this. So there's 2 limiting factors why I had to stop the key dupes here. One is that if I tried to do the triple bomb push at the door again, I could not get it to not crash. Every time I tried it, doing all variations that I could, the game would always crash right as I do the triple bomb push into the door because of the screen freezing. And so I was unable to do that. However, hypothetically, if I was able to get past that, I still would not be able to dupe anymore, because if I got to the point where I could do the weird shot back up, my shield wouldn't work. So I mentioned earlier how there was so much stuff loaded that my sword wouldn't work. The same applies to my shield, and the triple bomb pushes to open the door to do the entrance point glitch that despawns some stuff. It allows my shield and sword to start working again up to a certain point, but past this point, if I were to keep trying it, even after the entrance point glitch to despawn some stuff, my shield would still not work again, meaning that I could not weird shot, meaning that I could not get back up here. And so this is the max number of keys I could do. And I know some people mentioned GameCube. Because of these factors, GameCube, I'm pretty sure, should not actually be able to load anymore. At least from light testing that I did, it seems like GameCube could not actually get any more. So yeah, now just time to collect all the keys. Gamba, is anyone gambaing how many keys this might be? Still picking them up. Alright, 63 keys. And then, so that's 60 duped keys, as I have already picked up 3 regular keys. The 2 keys I got before that, plus the 1 regular. So 60 dupes. 60 duped GTG keys. Yeah, I went over the limiting factors while during the key pickups. That's why I definitely could not have gotten more than that number. Well, not definitely. I tried as hard as I could to get more keys, but that was as more as I could get. But yeah, I still have keys to get in GTG. There's still plenty of keys left. So it's not over yet. GTG, still plenty left in GTG. So there's 65. So this room doesn't have a key, I just need to collect the silver rupees to get to the next room. So there's a silver block here. Normally you need to push this with silver gauntlets, but you can do a mega flip plus hover boots to grab on top of the block. So you can skip that, and then there's 1 key here. This room has 4 chests, but only one of them is a key. This one right here. I can just ignore the likes. There's key 66. So I'm running low on shoes, so I got an RBA here. How many times did like grab me? Actually, not many. That room was surprisingly simple. Oh yeah, and I also catch a bottle over ice arrows there. So that just puts a bottle over my bow slot. That's just to make sure, that's just to make it so that I can pick up arrows. With nothing in the bow slot, arrows will never spawn from like grass or anything. And that way arrows can spawn. And so now I can use those 10 arrows that I bought back at the shop a long time ago because I RBA'd Kajiro for the quiver. So I can use the ice arrows here, shoot the statue, and grab key 67 in GTG. And then this room has key 68. Then I gotta go to this room. And then the center chest right here has 1 more key. And there's key 69, and that is it for Gerudo Training Grounds. So, I just want to say, regarding the key dupes and the coincidental number of that, I did try to get as many key dupes as I could. I did not intentionally stop at 60 for 69. It just works out like that. Now, I'm not saying for sure that you can't dupe any more than 69 or 60 at that 1 dupe spot. I tried as best as I could to dupe more. I really did not just try for the funny number, but that's what I could get. That's as much as I can get to work. And so 69 it is. But you know what? It's better that way. Yes, I'm proud that you guys all guessed the final total. Well, I don't know. Am I proud? Because I know you guys didn't actually guess the final total. You just said it because it's the funny number. You just happen to be right. Should I be proud about that? I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, now it's time to go to Spirit Temple. So I just gotta head across the wasteland. Oh yes, I'm also over 100 keys already. If you try to do this in MM, I'm not sure if MM... Oh, actually, no. MM has... You can infinite key dupe every key in MM. Any chest in MM, you can infinite key dupe with... Or infinite dupe with Song of... or not Song of Time, Time Stop. So it would be very uninteresting in MM. So I've got to get Requiem. I'm actually going to make several trips to Spirit Temple, so getting Requiem is really important. Oh, I also should mention, so at the beginning of the run, I did Forest Escape through the front to get Ocarina, rather than Lost Woods Escape that would skip Ocarina. Because this run actually plays a lot of songs. You've already seen quite a bit of songs already, but I still have many songs to play. So... yeah, I definitely prefer Ocarina rather than doing Ocarina items all the time. Only it works because there's no cutscene on those. Really? I thought it would work on those chests. Oh, well, I'm not sure. Oh, actually, yeah, you're right, It wouldn't work. Never mind, I'm stupid. Okay, maybe not then. Well, in that case, that probably makes it even less interesting for MM, because I don't think there's any other ways to dupe keys in MM. So I gotta kill these Armos to get some bombs, and I also Hess off the Armos explosion to clip through the wall here. No, Jason, that does not work. Because Skulltula tokens have a different pickup method compared to keys. Because Skulltula tokens you just instantly get as soon as they touch you, but small keys you have to do like that whole pickup animation. So here's the first Spirit Temple key. And I want to go directly back to the entrance, and the fastest way to do that is just to void out here. So this part's cool. So I'm going to climb up here and then jump onto the snake statue head. And then with hover boots, I'm going to climb onto the silver block here. So this lets me get out of bounds, and I can hookshot up to a really high room. So this is the moving wall room, really high up in Spirit Temple. Although the moving parts are actually actors that are not loaded, so I can jump through the wall and land down here. And this is the shortcut room, where you would hit the hammer switch and push silver blocks to activate the elevator down the room. Or the elevator from the main room to the first room. And you can do a ground clip to get past the... to get through the shortcut early. So now I gotta do a hookshot jump. So I'm gonna hookshot this perfectly normal hookshot target here and die at the same time as the hookshot latches on. And this gives me a huge hookshot jump, and this clips me through the ceiling. And it puts me directly in the mirror room, directly above. This is also the only way to get up here without using a key. And so I gotta play Lullaby here to open up the door, and this is the boss key room. So this is also one of the reasons why I wanted to include boss keys in this, because I initially wasn't sure if I was going to include boss keys, but A handful of the boss keys actually included some pretty interesting strats, so I decided to keep them in, like this one. So now I've got to get down to down to the main room, and the only way to do that from here is with a weird shot. So I'm gonna weird shot off these pots and hookshot another perfectly normal hookshot target down here. This will get me back down to the main room. Now I can get over to this hand and play Lullaby for another key door, or another key. And before this cutscene starts, there's just enough frames to equip Longshot and shoot it. So I can hookshot the chest during the cutscene. So I need to use the Deku Stick to bring fire up here to light the torches, and lighting these torches activates this key chest. So here I have to take damage from the Beamos and kill it and have it drop a fairy, because otherwise I would die from this next Void Warp coming up. So I get this key here, and I can jump slash to clip out of this wall. I'm going to jump out of bounds, and I'm going to land on this crawl space way at the bottom. This is the first crawl space to the left at the very start of Spirit Temple. And crawl spaces are really good for setting up Void Warps, so I can pull out Furrow's Wind, use Furrow's Wind right as I void out. And again, Furrow's Wind is still set in Shadow, so it's going to load me at Shadow Temple, but in the room number and coordinates of where I was at Spirit Temple. That put me right in front of where Dead Hand's room would be. And I can weird shot to the first hookshot target of the dungeon. And then I can Hess down. So that was where the Truth Spinner would be. This is down that long corridor at the start. And then weird shot here. And then this is the room that's actually loaded. This hallway room with the Skulltulas and stuff. Gonna do another Hess here. And I can also Hess through this, the gate right there. So here's the room with the key I want. I can backflip to get on top of the falling spikes, hit the switch, and get the chest. And there's my second Shadow key. So Shadow is, Shadow's fairly complicated in this run because Shadow is one of the dungeons where, like, a lot of you're supposed to get a key, use a key, get a key, use a key. And so Shadow really wants you to use keys in order, and so having to avoid those key doors is pretty complicated, so it requires all these Void Warps. Alright, so now I gotta go back to Spirit. I didn't finish it because the Void Warp, I needed the Void Warp to get to Shadow, but I still need to go back to Spirit. So this is why I want Requiem and to be able to play songs easily. So now I gotta go to the top of Spirit, so I'm gonna do Spirit Hover. Oh, was it key 113 at 1 hour 13 minutes? Nice. So I long jump up to the Silver Gauntlet's chest, Hess over here, and this takes me over to the Mirror Shield chest. This low tab was just an excuse to load up on rando strats. Not incorrect. I will say, yes, a lot of the Void Warps in this run are definitely things that can help in rando if I'm in a tough key situation. In fact, it's good that you bring that up now, because this thing that I'm about to do may look familiar to viewers who watched a somewhat recent OOTMM rando. So I gotta go get this key here. Simple key here. And now I gotta set up for another void warp. I'm gonna do entrance point glitch here. All I need to do here though is just roll forward. I just need to set my entrance a little bit farther forward than normal. Now I'm gonna clip out of bounds and slide hop down. So this is the first room, the side with the BMOS. So this is the entrance room right here. I'm gonna Hess clip out again and go to that same crawl space and use the crawl space for a void warp. And I'm going to use Furrow's Wind. It's going to load me at Shadow at the room and coordinates of the Spirit, where I was in Spirit Temple. And so this loads me at the long corridor down in Shadow Temple. But the room that's loaded is the fan room down here. And so I can go through this fan room. And then go into this room, and the key is right over here. So I mentioned how that void warp may look similar to a different void warp I did in Rando. If you guys remember in that one OOTMM Rando I did not too long ago, I had to void warp from Spirit to, was it Forest? Or I forgot where I was actually void warping to. But it was basically the same void warp as that, except it was the adjacent room. It was the room with the key chest instead of the room in front of it. So remember, yeah, it was Fire Temple, that was right. But yeah, I remember, so that's why I was able to set up that void warp so fast, is because I already knew a void warp from the same general location from setting this up. So I just had to make a slight adjustment for use in Rando. It was, I mean, it was half on the fly. I just knew I had half of the knowledge I needed in order to set it up on the fly. Oh, the shared flag. I forgot to mention. Okay, I can't believe I forgot that. Okay, in that room just a second ago, you saw how the gate was open, and I just walked through. And normally you have to get the silver rupees to open that gate. So it turns out it's a shared flag with the redeads in... remember I said how I killed those redeads a long time ago? And I said, keep in mind that'll be important for later. Killing those redeads is a shared flag for opening that gate. It is not faster, I just wanted to show it off. However, I should mention that I actually made a mistake. I thought the shared flag was killing both of the redeads and spawning the chest. And it turns out, it's actually only killing one redead. So actually I wouldn't have needed to spawn the chest, I could have just killed one redead. Although I would have, it's specifically killing the redead and waiting for the body to despawn. So I would have had to wait a few seconds. But I actually could have avoided spawning the chest. But either way, it was really just a fun thing to show off. It's either one, not a specific one. You can kill either one of the redeads and wait for the body to decompose, and then it opens up that gate. But it's something that you almost never see because it's the gate is supposed to be a flag from way earlier on. Oh yes, and I did the bell. Because of course I know you guys would yell at me if I didn't do it. And it was a, you know, I'm using save states, so of course I can do the bell. Alright, so there's 5 shadow keys, and then I still want the boss key. I just gotta go over here, do a weird shot to the boss key, and then this will be it for shadow. Okay, so I'm finally, now I'm going to Forest Temple. So the way I kind of have to route this, I have to route around where my Furrow's Wind is set. So Furrow's Wind was set in Shadow Temple for like the last 45 minutes or something. So I kind of had to route around, okay, every time I use Furrow's Wind, I'm not able to use Furrow's Wind if it's not Void Warping to Shadow. And now that Shadow's finally done, I have Furrow's Wind freed up, and so now I can go do Forest Temple, which I want to use some keys for. Do you hear that in the background? Yeah, someone's like mowing the lawn in the background or something and being really loud. Or using a leaf blower or something, I don't know. But yeah, there's one Forest Temple key. That one's fairly simple. There's grass in Arizona, a little bit. You get little patches here and there. So I want to set Furrow's Wind here for later, and then I'm gonna go up here into the room over with the Stalfos for the key. And I need to catch a fairy, and I catch it right as the cutscene starts. It lets me move early during the cutscene. And I can open the chest as quickly as possible. Alright, so here I have to do a hookshot jump. So I'm gonna do entrance point glitch with this door from this room. I have to freeze the bubble so it doesn't attack me during this. I do a triple bomb push while opening this door with a crouch stab, and this pushes me slightly out of bounds without the door closing, and then I can hookshot the chest as soon as I die. This hookshot jumps me up to the top floor, and the door still hasn't closed yet. The door only closes after I get a certain distance away from it, and that's also when the respawn point is set. So the respawn point is going to be set right now. And so the Stalfos fight in this room only activates if you enter the room above a certain Y coordinate. And so that whole thing with the door is so that my respawn coordinate gets set high enough so that the Stalfos fight starts. Then I can do the Stalfos fight for the bow up here. The bars took so long to go up just because of a glitch with catching the fairy during the cutscene. Like, it's not supposed to go like that, so it just goes extra long. Alright, so I spawned the bow chest and then I ignore it because all I needed to do that fight for was to just unlock the doors, because this is the room I actually care about, because this room has a key. So you can one cycle the Poe if you're fast enough, and then it spawns this chest with the key. And then there's 2 more keys in the outdoors area that I need to go get, so I'm gonna warp away. Yeah, it's some lawnmower or something outside being loud. I don't know, I can't do anything about it. Sorry, hopefully it's not too bad. So here in the outdoor area, I can long shot up here to go lower the water in the well. So technically, I can get a key down here without lowering the water if I had iron boots, but I do not have iron boots. So I have to actually lower the water. Do a weird shot on the lawnmower. Oh, also remind me, I have something to talk about this key later. Remind me about it towards the end of the run. So here I can do a mega jump here by damaging right as I jump off the ledge and equipping hover boots. I get a really big jump, and I can get up here. So here, I need to do a weird shot. So the twisted hallway room that has the boss key, I can only get the boss key if the room is untwisted. So I weird shot the eye switch from all the way down here to untwist it, but there's no reason to go up because it has a key door. In fact, the twisted hallway room is actually kind of annoying because there's a key door on both sides. So how will I get to the room if both sides have a key door? And then I kill the floor masters here for the last forest temple key. And I also gotta grab some magic. Magic is mildly annoying this run because I both don't want magic for shooting arrows because I have to use ice arrows and it's nicer if I just don't have magic so they shoot normal arrows. But I also need magic for Rose Wind, obviously. So I had to RBA choose again here. It actually kind of sucks because I was already at like a relatively high chew count. I think I had like 20 there. And I still had to RBA choose because I need a lot right here. So I'm going to start a hover here. Do one little hover off the bubble. And there's a hole in the ceiling here that I'm going to hover through. And I have to be very careful with these hovers because I'm very close to the walls. So I have to make sure that I'm in a position so that the shoes do not ride on the walls. And I have to keep turning back and forth. And then I can back loop up here, and it's the room with the boss key. It's the twisted hallway room. Yeah, that hover, that is quite an annoying hover because the shoes love to run on the walls there. And there is the forest boss key. And that cost me almost all my shoes, so I want to RBA again. And now I'm out of here. Yeah, so the reason, so that room loads because there's actually a transition trigger in the middle of the shoot. Oh my god, this is so loud. Please stop. Okay, well now I'm finally going back to Water Temple. Is it that loud? How loud is it? Is it actually like hard to hear me over it? Okay, I think it's going down now. Okay, so I'm back in Water Temple. I still have one key to get. But I also need a set for Rose Wind here. Well, actually, I have two keys to get. I have one small key and one boss key to get. So I need to light this torch here so I can get into the center room. This is so I can get in here without using the key door. And then I clip through. I do a ledge clip through this block here. And shielding the bomb lets me clip out of bounds. And then I need a fall to hit a load trigger. And then as I go back in the water, I shield an explosion from the bomb chew to get a super swim directly to the key. And now I have 36 Water Temple keys. So yeah, so I mentioned, so this is the reason why I have the no opening key doors restriction is actually this next section here. So this is also why I'm going to end with 36 Water Temple keys and not 37. So again, I kind of brought this up earlier, but you can get 37 Water Temple keys if you just open key doors in order to get down to 26 keys from a higher number with RBA. But because I can't open key doors, I had to go up to 26 from 25. And so that is 36 Water Temple keys total this run. But the main reason I didn't want to allow opening key doors is because getting the water boss key is actually much more interesting without opening key doors, because otherwise it would have literally just been I walk to the boss key normally. But instead I have to do this. So remember that Rose Wind is set in Water Temple, which means if I do a Void Warp here, I'm going to Void Warp to Water Temple. So I need to go to the right room. First I gotta clear this room. Yeah, I had to do Spirit Hover twice this run, which is mildly annoying. But at least I could long shot the Mirror Shield chest. So I do entrance point glitch in this room to set up where I want my next Void Warp to go. So this is the room, so this room right here corresponds to the boss key room in Water Temple. And so I have to fall down here. So I took damage from the chew there while falling. So the fall right there, if I didn't take damage from the chew, I would have taken 1 heart of damage. And then I would have died from this Void Warp, which is why I used the chew to take a half heart instead. So I again clipped that crawl space, and I Void Warp with Furrow's Wind. And I land in Water Temple. And this is the room where I meet Rudo. This is right in front of the Shellblade key room. So now I'm hessing around here. Weird shot here. And this is leading to the room with all the Tektites and the moving water. And this is hookshot collision. There's extra hookshot collision in that room too. There's not normally a hookshot target on the ceiling there, but it's there, just not visible. And then I can jump to that, the hallway where the boulders roll, and then from there, weird shot to the boss key. And that is all of Water Temple. So that's why I didn't want to allow opening key doors, because otherwise Water Temple boss key would have been very simple and pretty boring. So I hope you can forgive -1 key for more interesting Water Temple. Why not RB Ice Arrows for Water Boss Key? Kind of the same thing. It'd be less interesting. Which I should also mention, so I also, I'll talk about this more later, but I also don't include RBAing the child dungeon boss keys, because I wasn't sure if they should really count, and because they're not real, and they're not interesting, really, so I decided not to count them. Okay, so now I gotta go to Bottom of the Well, and set Furrow's Wind here. Yes, they are fictional keys. They do not exist. Yeah, so the only way into the main part of Bottom of the Well as adult is with a Void Warp. So, of course, I gotta set Furrow's Wind here. Yes, the 69 GTG keys are non-fictional. They are 100% real. Alright, so back to Spirit Temple again. I gotta both use Spirit Temple for a Void Warp and for the last key. So first I just gotta clear this room so I can open this room. This is the room with the last key. Light the torches, that loads the key chest. But I'm actually not going to get it right away. Instead, I'm going to do entrance point glitch here. And I need to set my entrance point so that I will exit the room when I go out of bounds. Or I'll exit the room and go out of bounds when I void. And I need a clip here. And then something very special here. For the first time in probably any speedrun setting ever, actually getting the keys to lower the gate. I'm gonna void out, and this is gonna let me jump out of bounds as I void, and this is right next to the crawl space next to this, and I have to trigger that text box. If I don't trigger that text box, this next part does not work. So I weird shot over to this room. This is the sun room where you're supposed to like blow up blow up a rock on the wall to shine light on a sun on the floor. And the place where the light comes from is actually a hole out of bounds. So I'm going to hover up to this hole. Jump out of bounds from this hole. And then I'm going to land on the crawl space right below. And I need to sit here for a few seconds to let the camera lock. And this is going to cause a glitch where I die and get revived by a fairy here. And you see the camera doesn't behave like the normal fairy revive. And the normal fairy revive camera is going to kick in as soon as I go back inbounds. So I'm going to use hover boots to go back inbounds, back in the room. And now I have this weird camera. And I have to, as quickly as possible, run to the chest, open the chest. The camera's going to kick in. It's going to allow the keys to start moving again. The keys hits me as I grab the key, and it dupes the key, and now I have 6 Spirit Temple keys. Now, so normally the way out of bounds in this room, I would use the gate, but I can't use the gate because the gate is down, so I have to do Entrance 1 glitch a second time in order to get out of bounds. And I use that out of bounds to get back to the crawl space, which I then use for another void warp. And this void warps me to bottom of the well. And so this is the coffin room in bottom of the well. So there's a key here. Okay, so I do have to talk about how I mentioned earlier how I did not allow infinite key dupes in this run. So this key in particular can be duped infinitely. But I decided not to include it for 2 reasons. One is that it would discourage getting the other keys in bottom of the well. So I kind of don't like the idea of infinite key dupes. But also, it would take like literally 2 hours. So, no. So, that key will not be duped. It's technically not infinite. I'll go over that later too. The cap is actually 127. So it wouldn't be infinite, it would be 127 keys, but you know what I mean. Okay, so anyway, but there is key dupes I can do with these keys over here. So there's this cool glitch with Skulltulas where if you shoot them with an arrow and check them with Navi right as they get hit, they actually won't die, but they'll actually move with the arrow. And so I can use this to my advantage to help dupe some keys here. I want to move 2 of these Skulltulas into position right in front of the key chests here. And then I'm going to weird shot. Weird shot like to get out of bounds and die in the water. And so, if you remember how I mentioned back in Spirit Temple about the out of bounds camera, how the Fairy Revive camera, if it happens out of bounds, it doesn't happen right away and it kicks in as you go inbounds. I'm going to use that exact same concept here. I'm going to float up the water, and as soon as I get back in bounds, the camera's going to go all weird. And I'm going to try to open the key chest from there. I open the key chest, and then that Skulltula that I moved is going to hit me after I grab the key. And I can grab the key a second time. So that's 3 bottom of the well keys, but I still have a key chest left. And then I repeat the process. So one more time, go out of bounds, die in the water, and then I have to swim much longer this time. I have to swim like halfway around bottom of the well to get to the other key chest. And then camera swinging around again. The Skulltula that I moved here hits me again, and then there is the 5th key. So 5 out of 3 Bomb of the Will keys. Alright, so two dungeons left, Fire and Ganon's Castle, so obviously going to Fire now. Oh, this was cool but also annoying. I do an A-slide off the rock to grab magic and then also get to Fire Temple. That took an annoyingly long time. That shouldn't have taken as long as it did. But, so yeah, here in Fire Temple, the Fire Temple boss key is fairly simple. Before I do that, I gotta set Furrow's Wind. This will be for Void Warp purposes, of course. What else would it be for? Actually, no, this one is not for Void Warp purposes, but another one will be. So the Fire boss key is just Weird Shot over here. Yeah, this is an actual Furrow's Wind because when you Weird Shot into this room, you're actually stuck. Unless you have Hammer. But yeah, it's just much better to... My options there are either Save Warp or Furrow's Wind, and Furrow's Wind is just better. So I set Furrow's Wind again. This one is actually going to be for Void Warping purposes later on. So I need to RBA choose again, because I'm out of choose. But I also need to do a camera glitch in order to skip the Darunia cutscene here. And I need to get my health down to a certain amount. I need to get down to 1/16 health here, which is why I was waiting there. So that gave me choose back. With these bugs, I do this camera glitch where the camera's facing the wrong way so that Darunia doesn't load when I open here. And now I have 1/16 health, which I got from the burn damage from the keys. And if you have, so health is actually kept in increments of 16ths in this game, and the timer, the way the timer is calculated is it gives you 1 second for every 2/16ths of a heart, or 1/8. And so if you have 1/16th, you actually just get no timer. So I can just walk around here normally. So I have to be careful not to activate the Darunia cutscene. And I need to go up here. I have to catch a fairy. This is for later. And then there's also some bomb pots here that are useful. So I have to grab this pot, throw this pot, that pot has a fairy, and I'm gonna hookshot this target as soon as I activate the Darunia cutscene. So this does a hookshot jump really high up Fire Temple. In fact, this puts me all the way into the Fire Maze room, which is near the top. It's right before a Flare Dancer. The problem is the room is unloaded, and I can't really do anything if the room is unloaded. So I need to load the room, and the load trigger for the room is below the room. But there's not really a simple way to get out of bounds. Well, there kind of is, but it's not great for loading the room. So I have to get out of bounds and hover, but the only way I can really do that is to ledge clip out of bounds here, die, get jump slash ISG, and be revived by the fairy. And now I can hover out of bounds. I fall all the way down to the load trigger. Hit the load trigger, and now I can hover back up and have the room load normally. So, that is the worst trick in the game. I mentioned earlier how like most of the stuff in this run is doable but hard, but this one is probably just not feasible. Yeah, there's that trick. That trick is not good. It's such a bad trick. Also, something related to it being really terrible is after I did it the first time, I realized I need to RBA choose again right after this key. And I realized that I forgot to recatch my bugs on my last RBA. So I actually had to do that trick twice. So that was really fun. No, the hover is not unfeasible, and the hookshot jump isn't unfeasible. Both of those parts are fine. The unrealistic part is the fairy revive. Like getting the jump slash to get ISG and then getting revived by the fairy and still being within range to shield the bomb explosion. That is just awful. Like, it is so bad. And requires RNG minute. I mean, not RNG minute, but like good luck with the fairy to be in the right position. So it's just the worst thing. But yeah, so Foro's Wind is still set in Fire Temple, so I have to go back to Spirit Temple, which is basically the Void Warp Temple. All the good Void Warps are from Spirit. Spirit has just like very easily accessible Void Warps. So I can do the same clip I did earlier where I get on top of the block, long shot way up this wall, and jump back down to the shortcut room. And then from the shortcut room, I can ground clip to get to the main room. So the room I want to go to is, it's actually this room, but I need a different entrance in this room. I specifically need to enter this room from this door. But when I go in this room, the door closes, so I have to do this room. So this room is going to look a bit weird. So I'm going to push this light statue in the opposite direction you typically see people push this light statue. There's a good reason for this. Keep that in the back of your mind. The good thing about this is that it does skip one of the sun cutscenes, because these two cutscenes happen at essentially the same time, or like without an extra push. But there is a reason I have to push the statue in the opposite direction there. So now I have my entrance point set the way I want, so I can do a void warp. I'm gonna push this, push the statue down, and I can use this to clip through the wall. And then from here, I can put on hover boots and use this to get to the crawl space, not too far below. And use the crawl space again for a void warp. So this time I'm gonna warp back to Fire Temple, right as I use Foro's Wind, or right as I void. And so the room that's loaded right now is the boulder room, which is pretty high up, but it puts me in the big lava room, like the first room to the right of the entrance. And so I have a long way up to go. So I can do a ground clip through this piece of the wall here. And so right in front of here, this is the fire elevator room with the big gate. And there's just a tiny patch of this out of bounds floor where there's no ceiling directly above. And I can use the lava there to get a hookshot jump. And that'll hookshot jump me all the way to the, this is the like green room where you would do the block skip. And that has the shortcut with the Goron in the cage. I climb up here, finally hit the load trigger to properly load a room. And then I can go backwards to load this room properly and then get the key. And now I've successfully loaded mid-fire temple without any key doors. And I need more magic. Still need some Foro's Wind uses. Although, I think that's the last Void Warp. But I do need some regular Foro's Wind magic. So I have to set Foro's Wind here. So, the first door to the right of the entrance in Fire Temple is a key door. That leads to that big lava room that I was talking about that I'm actually going to jump down to right now. So, conveniently, I initially thought I was going to have to void warp past that key door, but I can actually just go in this room and fall down all the way. Okay, so this is actually the reason why I had to push the snake statue in the opposite direction. So, when you do a void warp from one dungeon to another, it actually keeps temporary flags set between dungeons. So for example, any temporary flag I set in Spirit Temple would carry over to Fire Temple right now. It turns out that one of the chests that gets spawned by pushing the snake statue in the other direction actually corresponds with the flag for the Song of Time block right there. And so if I had pushed it in the other direction, the Song of Time block would actually be blocking the way into that room. Now, I have Song of Time, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's just faster. So, yeah, that's the reason I had to push the statue the other way, is to avoid the Song of Time block blocking me. And so, getting these 2 keys down here, pretty normal, and then I can just warp back up. And then this room has the last 3 keys all pretty close to each other. It's not a shared flag, it's just same numbered flag. And it's just that, again, when doing a void warp, the flags get transferred from one dungeon to another. So they just happen to have the same number between that Song of Time block flag and a spirit chest flag. And then from here I can weird shot into this cage for the 8th key. And then that's it for Fire Temple. And so all that's left is Ganon's castle. Yeah, unfortunately no bonus keys in Fire. Typically, in order to dupe keys, you typically need either a crawl space or water. Or that's like the easiest way to find a key dupe, is either a crawl space or water so you can get the out of bounds camera. Fire has neither of those. It's not that you can't dupe keys any other way than that, but those are the things that make it easy. Okay, so in Ganon's castle, there was a thing discovered recently where you can actually, for a long time it was thought that you could not cross this gap with a Hess and you had to hover, but it turns out it actually is possible, but very precise. So that's why I actually had to do a setup for this Hess, because I could not get it just trying to go for it. But yeah, you can just barely Hess, side hop at the end, and jump slash up to the ledge for Ganon's castle. Yeah, or also cram spaces, but those are also, yeah, very hard to come by. Especially when you need them to be near chests, and those chests also need to have enemies nearby them, so all the conditions that you need for a key dupe are it's kind of tough to get all the conditions to line up the right way. Oh yeah, so I did a Hess to clip through the light block there. So getting that key is pretty standard, and I need to do another triple bomb push entrance point glitch when exiting here. And when I do this here, I actually need to have the door close so that I can void out here, and voiding is going to put me barely still out of bounds. Like, I'm super close to falling out of bounds right now, but I need to stay not within bounds so I can start a hover. So the reason I had to void out first is because if I go to this next room first, there's a key I have to get by playing Lullaby, but the key chest would not spawn in that state. So I had to reload the room in order for the key chest to properly spawn. So I have to make sure that the respawn point still puts me out of bounds, just barely. Then I can hover over the room. And this is a very special case where these 2 rooms are actually the same room connected by a door that doesn't actually change rooms. There's very few of these in the game, but it's very convenient that this is one of them. So this room and the previous room are just loaded at the same time. They are just the same room. And then I can weird shot back out and get out of here. So that is the final small key. There is only one thing left to do. So now I just need to do the final boss key. Yeah, I'll talk about the Forest Temple key afterwards. Don't worry. Yeah, so I'll talk about some technicalities and some things people have been asking about after the run. Alright, so here's the room with the boss key. Normal, just killing the Stalfos, and then here's the boss key chest. And that's it. Yeah, so I just end here. So, yeah, so I don't end on Ganon because I don't have light arrows. I was considering to do Ganondorf boss key skip, but I started trying to do it and it was the worst thing ever, and I'm just like, no, I'm done with this. And then I would have just like been in Ganondorf's room without being able to beat him anyway. Okay, so I have a few technicalities to talk about. I actually put it at the end of the video. Oh, the thing is blocking it. Hold on. Okay, let's talk about technicalities and but what about this and well actually stuff. Okay, so I mentioned earlier you can get 37 water temple keys instead of 36 if you allow opening key doors, but I just thought it'd be much more interesting if I didn't open key doors. Water temple becomes much more interesting. It'd be kind of lame. And I mentioned also the coffin key and bomb of the well can be duped infinitely, but again, infinite key dupes. If I did infinite key dupes, then I would just ignore the other two keys in bomb of the well, which could be duped on their own. Essaying, yeah. This is to prevent essaying because I know people are gonna talk about these things. Okay, so the chess game. So the chess game does not have permanent keys, but if you really want to get technical, they reset when you re-enter the chess game, not when you leave the chess game. So technically, if you start the chess game, get a key, leave, you still keep that key until you go back in, although there's no way to check it. So if you really want to argue about it, then sure, I could go get a chess game key. It wouldn't be interesting though, except possibly on 1.0. On 1.0, you can do a version specific method of Ocarina items and Sunsong to reset the room, or yeah, you can reset the area and get more keys. And that is an infinite key dupe, but it would be so stupid. I'm not doing that. And again, yeah, infinite key dupes I just didn't think were going to be interesting for this. And again, yeah, infinite is not truly infinite. It only goes up to 127. If you go over 127, it goes negative. You can do it with on 1.2 is sold out on C and ESSY. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so infinite. So I didn't want to do infinite keys because it would discourage other keys. So, and then also Deku, DC, and Jabu do have boss keys. You can RBA the boss keys by RBAing Prescription, Eyeball Frog, and Eye Drops, respectively. I didn't think they should count because they don't really exist. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could really argue that, oh, I RBA'd Water Temple keys, so I should RBA boss keys or whatever. But then you'd argue that I should RBA Ice Arrows for Water Boss Key, which would also be kind of dumb because Water Boss Key is really interesting the way I did it. But yeah, so if you want to count all of those things, if you really want to be technical about it, you can get one more key in water, 122 more keys in Bomb of the Well, and 127 more keys in Chess Game, and the 3 Child Dungeon keys. But this is, this is technicalities that I don't really think should count or would not be as interesting. Yes, so the Forest Temple key. So let me go to Forest Temple right now. Give me a second to set this up. Do I have a decent setup for this right now? I don't. Let me just, hold on. I gotta, my OBS scenes are all messed up right now. Okay, ignore the cropping. I'm not going to worry about it. I just want to show something off. Or not show something off, but show something close. Well, this would be... So, I had an idea for a Forest Temple key dupe. It would be an infinite key dupe, but it is something very close to possible and would actually be pretty interesting. So I need to lower the water in the well and go over here and go up here. All right, so this key is pretty interesting. So this key chest, it exists both up here and down here. And when I enter, there's a room transition here. I should turn on the room transition. So it exists in both rooms, and you know, it kind of like reloads when I do the room transition here. Oh, there's no audio? Wait, hold on. Why is there no audio? Okay, there. Is it loud or is that good? I'm getting double audio now. Hold on. Way too loud? Okay, I think this is normal. Is this good? Better? Okay. Okay, yeah, so this chest exists in both rooms normally. Someone said, like, is it like the Welch or the owl in West Clocktown and South Clocktown in Majora's Mask? Not quite, because it is the real chest in both. Like, it has the same flag. But what actually is the almost possibility is that when you hit the transition, there's actually one frame before the chest despawns. And when you do an Ocarina dive, it actually does not activate the room transition until you cancel the Ocarina. So what you in theory could do is Ocarina dive, cancel the Ocarina, you have one frame to open the chest, and it opens the chest without opening the chest, and you get the key and you can open it again. However, the problem is I am not able to find a way to get close enough to the chest before the transition activates. So this isn't confirmed yet. This is a possible key dupe, but not confirmed. But the closest I can do is doing a regular Ocarina dive here. And then you can turn in one frame. I turned the wrong direction. You are able to turn in one frame. If I was closer on this frame, I'd be able to do it, but I couldn't do it. Yeah, in MM, this would be so trivial. I was thinking that exact same thing when looking into this. I was like, dude, in MM, I wouldn't even have to think about this. But yeah, so I'm not sure. My first thought was like a bomb push, but it seems like bomb push actually activates one frame later. Or at least if the bomb push was to happen here. Like maybe if you could bomb push before you Ocarina dive, but I don't really know how that would work either. No, you can't hover out further because you can only do an Ocarina dive very close to a ledge. And I would have to be far enough away from the ledge. In order to like be within range to open the chest, I have to be farther away from the ledge. So yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't able to get bomb push to work, but I can't rule it out completely. But that's like the best idea I can think of. But yeah, I'm not sure. What's actually also unfortunate is that this is also a perfect room to set up a fairy revive thing where you go out of bounds and fairy revive and have the cutscene interrupt you. There's just no enemy that can hit you. And so that's kind of dead. But yeah, this key is like a very high probability, I think, of being possible to key dupe, but just slightly out of reach. What if you hit yourself? Unfortunately, you need to be able to open the chest on this frame. And even if I were to get hit on this frame, like this is the earliest possible frame I could have gotten hit after the Ocarina ended. But even then, by the time it moved me, the chest would already be respawned. No, Fel, that would be a frame too late. Because the first frame of damage, you actually don't move. It's the second frame of damage that moves you. Because the first 2 frames when I deactivate Ocarina, the first 2 frames when you activate Ocarina, nothing is actually happening. Like these 2 frames, there's not actually anything you can do. And then this is the 1 frame you have any kind of action. And then this frame, it's gone. So yeah, anyway, this was something I was just thinking about recently. I actually found this, or I was only thinking about this like after I already finished the Lotad. So might be good that I didn't find it, so I didn't automatically obsolete it. I mean, it would have likely been an infinite key dupe if it works. Can you bomb OI with hovers? I would assume no, but I don't... How would that even work? Okay, so... Okay, bomb OI with hovers. You would... It'd be like... No, because it would... Yeah, because it would hit you. Unless you could somehow avoid it hitting you. But it would definitely hit you before the hover boots deactivate. Unless it was like... Or no, you could have it hit you before you go off the ledge, I guess. Like... But I don't think this would I doubt this gives you a dive. If this gave you a dive, I feel like this would be much more well known. Maybe if I had magic. Yeah, no, it's not gonna give me OI. Yeah, I think having it hit before activating the hovers would be best. Wait, is it frame 11 or 12 after the explosion? I did it on 11 last time. Okay, yeah, either way, I think both don't work. Yeah, there's no way, that's not gonna work. Yeah, you just can't use cutscene. Yeah, I think it would have to be like, maybe if the hover boots end on the right frame, but then you wouldn't be able to use the cutscene item. Or then you would get hit by the bomb. I don't know. I don't think it'd work either way. Because I feel like this would be way more well known if it did work, because it'd be useful everywhere. Fairy Revive does not prevent loading triggers. As far as I'm aware, nothing besides Ocarina prevents load triggers, or at least like no other like general state you can get with items. Like catching a fairy or being revived by a fairy or something. But yeah, either way, I just thought this was something interesting. But yeah, so that's it for today. That's it for the Max Keys Lotad. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What did you guys think? Yeah, trade items also don't work. Trade items activate the load trigger. You guys liked it? It was cool. Glad you guys liked it. No, not rando time. Sorry. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed February 21st and 22nd this year. think we're getting 5 subs, not holster. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I like working on it. This was really fun to work on. This was my first time doing a February 21st low TED, even though it wasn't on February 21st. But it was fun to work on. Hope you guys didn't mind the half TAS, half low TED stuff too much. I got lazy sometimes. You could tell. February 21st, 23rd low TED in the works. It maybe next year if we have like 5 low TEDs ready. Half task user setup. Dude, for the precise stuff, I was not like for some stuff I was okay with just running at it until it worked. For the precise stuff, I was not gonna, I didn't want to bother with that. Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching guys. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you later. So I will upload this on the main channel also, like as a main upload. So I'll try to do that soon. So thanks for watching guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye.